What's going on, everyone? In here on Easter Monday, the day after Easter, as they call it. But this is probably going to be a short and sweet episode, if I'm being honest with you. It's a public holiday, so obviously Nikita and the kids are home today. So it's probably a matter of time before one of them, if not all of them, come in and take over this episode. And yeah, I'm sure we would all rather hear the shit that I'm dribbling than whatever they come in with. But because it's a public holiday, kids were home this morning and they finally talked me into top tier computer nerd fucking tier. And after months and months of playing Fortnite and not caving, I've gone and bought myself a Fortnite skin. I used Weston as the scapegoat, told Nikita that he wanted it after I had spent hours convincing him how cool this skin was this morning before she woke up. So for those that do play Fortnite, it's the new Nike skin. It's basically just a man made out of all sports balls and Nike fucking shoes and shirts and shit. It's pretty fucking sick. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But yeah, I'm basically going to be sniping 12-year-olds now dressed as a Nike man. But again, it's for Weston, not for me. Just like the whole PlayStation was for him. But anyway, I've had a story that I've been sitting on now for legit 7 days. This happened the day of last week's episode coming out, and I'm like, fuck, I wish I could just get straight on the mic and tell this. But to get to that story, we'll do a little bit of a recap. So as I mentioned last week, my knee is fucked, which has now been confirmed by medical professionals. So yeah, I've been in some of the worst pain that I've ever experienced, right? I've had knee issues since I was a kid, like I said, but this pain has been next level, to the point where there were probably 3 nights this week that I literally could not get to sleep unless I came in here and just started smashing whiskey and made myself pass out, basically. All the pain meds and shit don't seem to be working anymore, which is sick. But yeah, it was even to the point where my work ute is a manual, right? And my left leg was not strong enough to push the clutch in to change gears. So had to fit out mum's, I don't even know what it is. I think it's a Hyundai Tucson as a work vehicle for the last week, which has been sick, rocking up to job sites with pink fluffy sheepskin seat covers and pink number plate. But once I told the clients, they're like, oh, you poor man. But yeah, been pushing through it. The official diagnosis, I guess you would say, is I forget the word he said, but some sort of bad tear of my meniscus, which is sick. And apparently it's an injury that I've had since 2016. And because I'd never got it fixed properly, it just keeps tearing. And there's also a thick buildup of arthritis in the joint, which is also sick, which is adding to the pain as well, apparently. But I guess we can get to the story after that. So, wrap up the podcast last week, and I had a job in the city on Tuesday night to install, right? And installs have been fucking insane with this pain. I've just been basically straight legging the whole installs, down on the floor trying to make shit happen. So I had a nighttime install, which at the time I quoted it, sounded good because after hours work, you can just throw a number and they'll be like, no other cunt's going to do it. So sure, rip me off. So yeah, accepted the quote. One sec. And I drive mum's car up into the city at nighttime on Tuesday night. And it's on the 5th floor of a medical high-rise up in the city. And I start work and it's just me and the builder in there, right? And when I got there, the builder's like, you might have to move your car because the glazier is coming soon. And I'm like, yeah, sweet. We're all working with each other. I start the install, smashing it out. And then the glazier comes and it's him and I don't know how to describe his mate, but he was a giant dude who didn't talk. He didn't seem quite all there. Let's put it that way, right? And the main glazier was one of the most overly friendly, nice guys that I had ever met. And he was just so bubbly. He's jumping around. Because it was nighttime, I forgot half my fucking shit. So I was sort of saying to the builder, I'm like, oh, I don't have this, I don't know, like soapy water for siliconing or something. The glazier's like, oh, you can borrow ours. And then he goes, oh, fuck, I left my caulking gun at the shed. And I'm like, mate, borrow mine. We're on high vibes there, right? Everyone's loving each other. We're all having laughs. We're all having fun. And then clearly the hour or so that we've spent together, they've seen me hobbling around the office and picking up my tools and shit off the ground, taking me 10 minutes per tool. Anyway, I pack my shit up and I start to wheel my toolboxes out of the site. And the glazier stops me. He goes, oh, what have you done to your knee there? And I've gone, oh, he's friendly enough. We've been having good times together all night, right? Let's bond over this. So I said, oh, I don't really know yet because I hadn't been to the doctor at that stage. So I go, I don't really know. Could be this, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, oh, random question, but has anybody ever prayed for it? And I was like, no, they haven't. And then this is when he hits me with, do you mind? And I've gone, well, obviously I've hit my awkward wall like I fucking do. And I've gone, sure. So I've stood there. This dude has got down on his hands and knees in front of me and he has embraced my knee with both hands on his knees like he's about to fucking suck me off or something. And then he just starts like you see in movies and shit. He starts the dramatic, in the name of the Heavenly Father, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, eyes are closed. And the only people in the room with their eyes open is me and the builder. And we're both looking at each other like, what the actual fuck is going on right now? And then he gets to the end of his little prayer after like, I don't know, 20 seconds. And he just starts screaming, heal, heal. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. And this dude, like, after he yells heal for the last time, he has a moment with my knee for a couple of seconds. The room's just in silence. And he steps back, stands up. He goes, move your leg. And I've moved it. And it still hurts like fuck, obviously. And he goes, does it feel better? And I've gone, no. And he goes, oh, it mustn't have worked then. I'm going to have to do it again. And at that moment, I was like, I really don't want this to happen again, but I'm in too deep. So let's have it, Heavenly Father, heal me. So he hops down, does it again, just as dramatic, if not more dramatic, to try and get the Lord inside my knee, and steps back again. And he goes, all right, it's better this time. He goes, give it a little wiggle. So I give my leg a little Elvis shake. And still the most immense pain I've ever felt in my life. And I go, nah, still didn't work. To which, I don't know if he accepted defeat or if he genuinely thought this. He goes, oh, okay then, it'll be better tomorrow. It wasn't. I woke up the next day and it wasn't better. The two worst things though is because my knee was fucked, Adrian offered to come and help me with that install, to which I turned him down. And I texted him after. I'm like, fuck, I wish you came and saw what just fucking happened to me. And the second thing, I called Nikita as soon as I got in the car and I'm like, I need to tell someone this because nobody's going to fucking believe me what just happened to me, because it sounds like another fucking dramatic James story that he's over observing. And I'm like, this legitimately happened. But anyway, I called her and she goes, I started getting into the story, how I was explaining he was overly nice and stuff. And she's like, did he try and have sex with you? And I'm like, no, that probably would have been easier for me if he did try and do that. But yeah, I did not have sex with the glazier. You probably keep seeing me checking my watch, and it's because everyone's home today. My cameras are going fucking nuts. I've literally, in the last 5 seconds, I've got back door, front door, garage, and side door all going off, which means I'm either going through another home invasion or Nikita's chasing the kids around our yard, and I'm going to hear about it when we finish this. But let's hope it's a home invasion, hey? That might make the podcast a little bit more interesting for you guys. The other thing that happened when I did go to the specialist, who fucking doesn't miss you every time you go there, I swear they just make you make other appointments to make their nut. My fucking water has red shit all over it, so that's another sick thing that's happening to me right now. Anyway, I go up to the specialist and he goes, we're in his waiting room for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, which is pretty good for the doctor. I was happy with it. And he goes, all right, go in your room, go in my room. So Nikita and I are sitting in there, and we were in there for like maybe another 5 minutes, and I was bored as fuck. And you could imagine in a orthopedic doctor's room, it's just littered with like skeletons, like models of joints and shit, models of like fake metal and plastic shit that they put in your body. And it's just scattered all over his desk, right? So I get like a minute into waiting in here and I'm bored as fuck. So I start picking shit up off the table like I would, and everything I picked up, Nikita's like, put it down, like I'm her third child. And there's a fake knee there, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to pick this knee up and see where my knee hurts on this fucking muscular skeleton model thing. So as soon as I reach out and I pick it up, this thing crumbles to fucking 1,000 pieces. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, obviously that's why this dude went to university, so he knows how to pick this particular knee model up without it breaking. But I've obviously got in my awkward mode again and panicked, and I've tried to start doing my doctor's degree and piecing a knee back together. I think that I could successfully operate on my knee now after putting that model back together. But yeah, I got it back together before he got in, so I avoided an awkward situation. How's this for the dog, right? He gets me in there for his second visit from me. And on the first visit, he goes, well, what do you do for work? And I was hoping I'd tell him and he'd be like, oh, here's 6 years off paid. But I go, oh, I'm a cabinet maker. He goes, oh, I actually need one of them at the moment. Second visit, I come in and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, if it comes up again, I'll try and strike a deal with him, like try and tee up surgery for a kitchen. Pretty good deal. And he goes, oh, I've moved into this house and all my wife and I want to do is put new handles on. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, I'll just do it myself. What are some good websites? And I'm like, you dog cunt. And so I pulled my phone out while he was filling out a script for me and gave him some referrals for some handle websites. But it's the least I could do for him hooking me up with some new pain meds, which not too bad. They're doing okay. Still not as good as the whiskey, but it's getting there. But he did sort of like give me an instant sort of cure for my knee though. And it honestly hasn't felt better since that appointment. And that cure was him giving us the quote for the surgery. So when Nikita and I first bought our house, we got private health insurance because that's what adults do, right? We take that next step, we get private health insurance, and we're adults now. Nikita and I were adults for about 12 months, and she had heaps of medical shit going on, but the health insurance didn't cover it or something. So we're like, why the fuck are we paying for this? So we cancelled it, and God, I wish we didn't fucking cancel it. But yeah, he goes, this surgery's about $7,000. And I'm like, holy shit, I can walk. I'm good. I'm running. I'm running out of this fucking office right now because I'm not paying $7,000 for you to go inside my knee and fuck with it. Much like my wisdom teeth. I think we've spoken about that on the podcast before, that I got a quote for like $2,500 or $3,000 or something to get all my wisdom teeth out because they're on nerves. And I've gone, I'm just going to live with that pain every 6 to 12 months, every time they come back down and go back up. But yeah, Nikita and I, she's given me 3 weeks to prove that I can heal myself naturally, like I'm some sort of Wolverine character, before we cancel the surgery. But $7,000 to go in there and operate, which I'm not keen on. There's so much more shit I could spend $7,000 on right now. But I got one more little sort of private life story that happened this week, which again, how the fuck does this shit keep happening to you, James? I don't fucking know. I wish it didn't. But when was it? It was the day after I went to the specialist. So Friday morning. Good Friday. There we go. It wasn't a very fucking good Friday, but sure, let's go with it. In the name of the Glazier and the Lord Jesus Christ, let's heal together. But I woke up 4 o'clock, same as every morning, drive into the gym, and obviously it's a 24-hour gym, but the after-hours door, which is upstairs, isn't unlocked. No, the staffed hours door, which is upstairs, isn't unlocked, right? So they got this seedy back door that's down on the main street of Beenleigh, right? And there's like a little car park, little dingy car park beside there, which when the street parking's full, I drive up there, which 9 times out of 10, I just drive up there anyway because it's easier. It's out of the way. It's tucked away in a little back corner. So this morning, 4 o'clock, say it's 4:30 by the time I got there, right? After I've woken up, showered, blah, blah, blah. Driving up into the car park, and I notice headlights in my rear vision mirror, and I'm like, it's normal. It's another one of my little gym goers in the morning. As we know, there was the shirtless guy last week. It could be him. Could be about to hook up with him in the car park or something. But I park, and this car park's right beside me, and I'm like, okay, there's heaps of parks, but again, who am I to judge? So I turn my car off, look down at my phone, start trying to pick my playlist or podcast, whatever the fuck I was going to listen to. And you know that feeling you get when somebody's staring at you? And I'm like, I felt that. So I've looked out my passenger window, and the car that followed me in is right beside me. There's a dude in there with a hat, and like, I don't know if he had his shirt pulled up or a mask, but I couldn't see his nose or mouth. I could just see his eyes, and he was sort of crouched down below his windowsill. So all I could see was like the tip of the shirt or mask, his eyes, and a hat. And then the dude in the passenger seat was leaning around him, staring at me as well. But I don't know why the fuck my brain at that moment didn't go, that's weird as shit. You need to get out of here right now. My brain goes, it's really important that you pick this playlist or podcast right now to have the sickest one-legged workout you've ever had in your life. So I look back down at my phone, start picking the song, and then that's when my brain, after another 3 to 4 seconds, that's when my brain goes, that wasn't quite normal. What the fuck were those guys staring at? So I've looked back up from my phone, looked out the window, and now they're both like, the driver's sat up more and the other dude is like full in lean mode. Like they looked like they were about to fucking pounce. And that's when my brain luckily kicked in and went, okay, you have to do something now, you stupid fuck. Worry about your song later. So I've just fucking started Nikita's car again, thrown it in reverse, and I've started driving home. And again, I don't know why the fuck I did this, but I got home, like my heart is fucking racing, like thinking I'm about to get carjacked or raped or something. I don't fucking know. And I get halfway home and I was like, that's shit that I'm letting these guys dictate how my day starts and goes just by being a little bitch. But so I'd started to drive back, and this is what I genuinely thought. I was like, if my leg wasn't fucked, I would go back, park where I was, and just fucking walk to the gym and give them the benefit of the doubt that, I don't know, they were lost or something. Who fucking knows? Anyway, as I started to approach the gym again, a car reversed out of the street parking right in front of the door, and I'm like, I'm going to bitch it, and just swung in that park, ran inside. And yeah, I don't know. I said to Nikita when I got home, I felt bad because there's this like older lady that lives literally like a street over from us. And every morning she'll say hello to me. She'll always have a little chat. She's so nice and stuff. And she always parks in that car park with me. And I like, all I could think the whole time was like, oh my God, what if they get her? Like I should have sacrificed myself. But 20 minutes later, I saw her stroll into the gym, and I'm like, maybe they were fucking innocent. Who knows? But yeah, that was my other little crazy story from the week. But there's a couple of big. Let me just take a sip before we delve right into this. There's a couple of big stories that have come out this week. Ugh, and none bigger. And I know when Adrian and Ash were here, we used to delve into this world quite a little bit with the whole Jeffrey Epstein. We've got Bill Cosby up on the table here. There's another couple of sex predators in the world right now. And the weird thing is, every time a sex predator would come out in the news, it'd be, I wouldn't feel, I don't know, any sort of way about it, I guess, because it wasn't really my generation. Like it was Michael Jackson and stuff, which, yeah, I knew Michael Jackson, but whatever. But now like R. Kelly's getting done, and the two big ones from this week, Nickelodeon, a heap of the producers from there. There's a documentary, what's it fucking called? quiet on set. I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen basically my whole TikTok feed is full of it, so I feel like I've seen it. But there was a couple of producers that produced some of the big Nickelodeon shows when I was a kid, like the Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, and the one Ariana Grande was on. I forget what that was fucking called, but yeah, basically this dude used to invite them around to his house and do script readings and shit like that. And Drake from Drake and Josh, he fell asleep there once, woke up, and this dude was sucking on his dick and shit. And Drake's parents found out about it. Again, I haven't seen the doco, so I don't know about this, but the TikToks are telling me that Drake's dad and stuff still used to make him go back there just for like the paycheck. So shit like that's pretty fucked. Apparently he's like he went to jail for 6 years, which I don't know, doesn't seem long enough for me. If you go and do a crime like that, I think you should life or death, either one of those options. And if you get life in jail for something like that, from what I've heard, it's pretty much a death sentence. So the other big absinthe, holy shit, that tripped me out because I legit looked at this bottle of absinthe I have right here that Ash still hasn't finished off, but I meant to say absence from the documentary was Amanda Bynes, who, if you've seen her in the last few years, it's crazy how much she's transformed from this like little child actor to face tattoos, her hair's never brushed, she's a complete fucking mess, right? And now this documentary's come out, everyone's like, holy shit, this is making sense, because the producer on this was like basically made her career. She made a cameo on another show on Nickelodeon, and he saw her and he goes, all right, this chick needs her own show. So apparently everyone's saying it's because the shit that he did to her was insane. And there's been a rumor coming out that he got her pregnant when she was 13 and she had to get an abortion and shit like that. So again, I'm not qualified to talk about any of that, but I have on my global platform here of the podcast. But the other big one for this week is one of the big rappers, producers. I think he's even been like an actor and shit in his time, but P Diddy, or he's gone by so many names. I think he's gone by like Diddy now. Diddy Do It? That's the big question. Did he do it? That's clever. I'm going to wait 5 seconds. You guys can all give me my dues for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Did he do it? I'm going to pitch that to Channel 7 this afternoon. But yeah, apparently he was running a big sort of Jeffrey Epstein operation, bit of sex trafficking. But the how it's all caved in on him, he had a male producer, or I don't know if he was a producer. Let's just say a male employee. Apparently Diddy used to film this dude doing sexual acts and then like hold it against him. And this dude, again, I don't know why. I guess it's just like shame, I guess, but I don't want to say I don't know why these people don't come forward. Like it hasn't happened to me, so whatever. But yeah, I don't know why this dude's come out in 2024 and decided it's finally time to speak up. But yeah, it's interesting to see what happens to Diddy. Apparently he tried to fly out of the country after it all came out, which I don't know if that screams guilt to you guys, but seems pretty guilty to me. But yeah, I'll be missing you, Diddy. Oh, that break there, that's a top tier P Diddy break. I'll be missing you is probably one of his biggest songs. So just going to take a sip after that one. Oh yeah. Oh, you wait until next week. I've got the perfect drink sound effect teed up, but after the big Easter weekend, I didn't have time to get it for this episode. So you guys wait and see what's coming. It's going to be crazy every time I take a drink. I'm probably going to spend a whole episode drinking just so you guys can hear the sound effect. So stay tuned next week. But on the back of the P Diddy goss, right, I was thinking this driving to one of my gigs the other night, and a song came on that I hadn't heard probably since, I don't know, 2012 or something, somewhere around that time. But it came on while I was driving to a gig, and I've got this like hip hop playlist that I play on the way to and from gigs because I'm like big time comedian, right? And I'm just all about that lifestyle. But it popped into my head, and it was something I wanted to do back in the day when Ash and Adrian were here. And that was sort of how everyone talks about their top 5 rappers. So then this song that came on, right, was a Lil Wayne song. And it's not one of his big ones. It's called Mona Lisa. And if you've heard that, I think Kendrick Lamar's on that as well. And I was listening to Lil Wayne's rap on it. And just the way, and I know everyone fucking hates Lil Wayne. When I was at high school, Lil Wayne, I was the only kid who was like, Lil Wayne's my favorite rapper. And everyone's like, oh, he's auto-tuned and his voice is shit and blah, blah, blah. But you know me, I'm so deep and meaningful, you know. I'm all about those lyrics and that music. So if you can listen to Mona Lisa and listen to the story Lil Wayne is telling, like he's telling a rhyming story, like he's some sort of fucking poet who just sips cough syrup and raps on sick beats. But he has so many of those songs that are just like, okay, I admit he's got songs where he rhymes the same word like 5 times in a row, but other songs like that, like it's insane how he can do that. And I think he's probably one of the best to be able to do that. But I figured I'd come on and say my top 5 for everyone to disagree and argue with. And that's fair enough, because I know some of these people are going to be like, oh, no, correction. All of these people, everyone's going to be like, oh, those are all just fucking mainstream shit ones. Where's fucking Nas? Where's Biggie? Where's Tupac? Where's fucking blah, blah, blah? But these are people that have spoken to me, I guess, or inspired me in some sort of way in my little hip-hop journey. So, and this is in no particular order, because I genuinely don't know how to rank these ones, because like I said, at different stages of my life, each one of these has been one of my favorite rappers. So one sec. Oh, again, that drink sound effect is going to hit different next week. I wish I'm going to prepare it for next week. There's this TikTok dude that I've found that Nikita and I are obsessed with at the moment, but that's a next week story because I don't have it queued up for this week. But here, top 5 rappers in no particular order. Ready? Lil Wayne, tick. Eminem, tick. Jay-Z, tick. Kanye West, tick. And Dr. Dre. I said it. I fucking said it. And I know a lot of people are like, Dr. Dre's a fucking producer, blah, blah, blah. But Dr. Dre is a legitimate rapper who has his own legitimate albums that I have obsessed over at some stage. Like, no one can go and put The Chronic on and say this isn't one of the best hip-hop albums of all time. So Dr. Dre scrapes in my top 5 there. And again, people are going to fucking argue and fucking cry about that. But hey, my top 5. If you don't like it, send in your top 5 and we'll argue it. But until then, shut the fuck up. But there has been a new music artist in my life this week that I have legit, like he's going to easily top my Spotify Wrapped already, and I've only known about him for about 5 or 6 days. And he's so new to me, I don't even know how to say his fucking name yet. Technically, it's a band, but there's one main singer that I like his voice. But the band is called Ole 60 or Ole 60. It's OLE and then the number 60. So, fuck, what are the 2 songs that... Here, hang on, just getting Spotify up right now. There's 2 songs. If you want to go and discover a new artist, these songs will blow your mind. So, Smokin' a Light is their main fucking... That's the song that seems to be blowing up for him at the moment. But the other song that I'm obsessed with is Brother Joe, which, again, I said Lil Wayne's a good storyteller. This guy is a fucking mint storyteller. And that song's about like a priest. Like this dude finds this girl. She turns him religious, like older in life. They have kids. They have blah, blah, blah. And then he's at the church writing his sermon for the next week, right? And the sheriff calls him and says that his wife and 3 kids have just been murdered. So then this priest has to make the higher judgment and believe that God wants him to go and kill this dude that just killed his wife and kids. And the story this dude tells with his insane fucking like country twang rock voice, like, oh, it's some deep shit. But yeah, go check those boys out. Tell them I sent you. I'll get them on the podcast for sure. So far, our biggest guest is Ashley Epstein from Set the Record fame, or if you don't know him from there, maybe Ash plus Jared. A couple of hits there, but hey Ash, how you doing? I've actually got a little plug coming your way at the end of the episode, so stay tuned for that one. But where should we go to from here? We can either, all right, let's go sport, and then we'll go my fucking comedy shit. So UFC, there was a fight night yesterday. Might have been Atlantic City, maybe, I feel like. When it's a fight night, I never take note of what city it's in, but there was an Australian on the card. I don't know how to say his name. Let's say Jacob Malcone or Malcoon or something. But he had again, known about him for a little while on like the local circuit, but I think he's had sort of 2 or 3 fights in the UFC now. And he had one of the most bizarre finishes I've seen in the UFC. So he basically, it was the start of the second round, I think. Start or end? It was in the second round. He threw this body kick, but as he threw the body kick, the opponent caught it with both his arms, but obviously the pain had already hit him. So it looked like he caught him, but then he like collapsed to the ground. It was weird as shit to see. If you haven't seen it, go and watch that. I think it's on the UFC's Instagram or TikTok. But yeah, sweet to see another Aussie guy coming up there. Hopefully he gets on the Perth card, which I'm about to touch on right now. So Perth is getting another UFC card, which, hey, when you're coming back to Brisbane UFC, some of us can't pay for fucking flights, but yeah, UFC 305 got announced the other day for Perth, Western Australia again, which I think the only reason they're going there is because of that sick sort of arena that they've got over there. It just seems to work for them. I also believe the UFC might have like a tourism deal with Western Australia where they're going to do like 3 or 4 pay-per-view events there, which I can't see why they wouldn't. Like that last one with Volk and Islam was fucking insane. And it brings the question up again. I already know the answer because it's financially and physically impossible for me, but one of my biggest bucket list things in my life is to go to a live UFC pay-per-view event. And in the short term, it seems like an Australian one is probably the most viable because it doesn't look like I'm going to the States anytime soon. The other big thing about the Perth card is the rumoured main event is Israel Adesanya versus Dricus Dusap. I still can't say this cunt's last name, eh? Let's just say Dricus. So yeah, that fight is absolutely fucking nuts if that does become the main event of that card. And if any of you want to buy my left nut, I will sell you my left nut for flights and tickets to UFC 305 in Perth. There's also a sick comedy club over there, Comedy Lounge, I think. Yeah, Comedy Lounge in Western Australia. Apparently that fucking goes off. So I would be delighted to make a fucking comedy and UFC trip about it. Do a live fucking podcast from Perth. That'd be sick. Get a couple of fighters, get a couple of other podcasters on. I don't know. I'm going to talk to Nikita after this and see if, holy shit, there we go. It's just dawned on me. My surgery money can be my UFC 305 money. It's done. Any ideas from you guys on how to heal a meniscus tear and arthritis naturally and organically? Shoot them at me so I can go to Perth. But the other big in the fighting game yesterday, I can't get into fucking boxing, eh? Like, it just drags out so long. Like, I watched a boxing card maybe 12 months ago. I paid for it. I'm like, I'm going to give it another crack. And just can't do it, eh? There's something so quick and exhilarating about the UFC where literally in the matter of seconds, there can be a knockout, a submission, a fucking anything, right? And it's just so quick, fight after fight after fight. Whereas boxing, there might be half an hour between each fight. And you're like, what the fuck? You write off a whole day. But Australia's Tszyu fought yesterday. And he lost his belt to a fucking gigantic man. If you saw the videos or photos going around, this looked like one of the biggest mismatches in history. Just the size difference in these guys, but obviously they're the same weight and shit. But the big controversy about the fight is Tszyu copped an elbow in the second round, and if you saw the photos again, Tszyu was covered from fucking forehead to chin in just red blood. So apparently there's a heap of disputes going around that's the reason he lost. It was a split decision. So again, I didn't watch the fight. I can't really judge. But apparently the guy that did win is trying every trick in the book to get out of the rematch clause, which means he probably thinks that Tszyu won as well. But the one other cool thing from that little fight, well, not little fight, it was one of the biggest fights in the world yesterday. But the dude that did win, his sister won a world title a couple of weeks ago, which makes them the first ever brother and sister to both hold world titles at the same time, which it's pretty nuts thing for a family to have under their belts. Like, I hate to be asking for the mashed potatoes at that table. Yeah, I've got no joke there. That was going nowhere. Crowd work on a podcast. That's where it's fucking at. But yeah, let's dip into week of comedy, right? So I had my big gig up at Good Chat, and we all know where my head has been at the last few weeks. Haven't been positive, haven't been keen to do fucking anything, haven't been keen for comedy and shit like that. So Wednesday was a pretty chaotic day, like daytime, like work life, shit like that, family life. And it was just like, this is not going to be good. This is going to be fucking shit. But I got in the car, hit my playlist, my hip hop playlist with Lil Wayne. Like I said, this is where I fucking heard that Mona Lisa song again. And there was just something about like hearing, it might have even been that song in hindsight. I don't know. But I just got back in my positive mindset that I was telling you guys I'm trying to be in. And I'm like, fuck, I'm going to fucking crush this gig, which I know some people hear that and they probably think it's like the most cocky and arrogant thing to say. But genuinely, if you go onto stage and you think you're going to bomb, 9 times out of 10, you're going to fucking bomb. You need to somewhat have that mindset and be confident in your jokes and shit like that. And there was a little bit of me that was not confident in anything I was about to say because I was doing the exact same set that I said I bombed on the previous Sunday at Bloodhound, where I got next to no laughter. So, but I knew in the right environment that set was going to fucking kill. So I get to the gig and sick lineup. Everyone's been friendly again. Like I said, when you're on those big shows at Good Chat, when you step up from Bright Eyes and shit, the whole energy and atmosphere of that green room changes. It goes from nerves and everyone being scared and anxious to just one of the sickest chills you'll have. There's just couches out the back. Even got a burger and drink ticket. I didn't get the burger. I got the drink. But yeah, everyone's just having a laugh. Everyone's throwing new jokes around. Everyone's going, oh, I'm thinking about trying this tag on stage, blah, blah, blah. And it just takes all the pressure and anxiety off you. So I think I was like third last. And yeah, I just sort of, I don't know, before set my camera up. So I got this one on recording, which I've watched it back. If there has ever been a set that I've been confident on posting, it's probably this one. And I don't even know if it was the best set. No, it definitely wasn't. It wasn't the best set I ever had, but it was a set that I for sure needed for myself. Like when I spoke about that Mawillimbar gig 12 months ago, whenever it was, where I sort of needed a good gig. It was like that again. I needed to fucking crush. So I got up there and then, yeah, everything I was saying, these guys were fucking there for. And I had one of the best sets of the night, if I had to arrogantly say so myself. But yeah, I did that evolution joke again. And I was so confused to where to take that. But I think it literally just has to be a tag or an introduction to like a joke about my kids or like a chunk about my kids. But yeah, it hit hard again, like super fucking hard. But yeah, I was crushing on stage and the only shitty thing was every time I'd look up at the sound booth, the dude that runs Good Chat, he was not there. And I'm like, fuck. Like, but I was watching him all night. He was run off his fucking feet. Like, obviously, running a comedy club, he's not just sitting there going, I wonder how James is going to do tonight. I'm going to sit here and monitor it. But he caught the end, got some good laughs at the end. So hopefully there's some more spots coming my way. But yeah, like I said, needed that one for me. Needed that good spot for me. So keep tuning to my socials, whether or not I post any of it. But yeah, I watched a couple of movies this week as well. So since we're going off the back of comedy, actually these are all technically comedies, but let's talk about the comedy specials first. First one I watched for the week was a recommendation in the group chat. Someone said, have you seen Dan Soder's new special? And I've never seen Dan Soder's comedy before, but I know him from the podcasting universe, right? And I've even started listening to his individual podcast now after watching this special. This dude was fucking insane. Like one of the best sort of put together and done specials I've seen in a very long time. And he's just put it out himself on YouTube. So it's not like it's behind a paywall of Netflix or anything like that. And I think he's probably going to have like the Shane Gillis effect when he released his YouTube special and probably blow the fuck up. Maybe not to the extent of Shane Gillis because, I mean, Soder's been on Rogan before, but the push that Gillis got from Rogan definitely skyrocketed him to that next level. But yeah, if you haven't seen Dan Soder's special and you want a good fucking laugh of just some stupid, silly little stories and shit like that, then go check this out. But the other special that I watched, probably one of the most anticipated specials in a little while, was what some would consider the GOAT, Dave Attell, who has been doing comedy since the beginning of time. Almost every comedian I listen to says Dave Attell is the best, if one of the best, if not the best. And watching this special, again, I've never seen an Attell special. I've never seen any of his comedy or shit like that. I've seen like a couple of clips on like YouTube and Instagram and shit, but never like a full body of work. And this is a hot take, and don't judge me for it, but his comedy is not really my comedy, but I can see why like people think that he's the funniest cunt in the world. Like he's got jokes upon jokes upon jokes. Like that's what I said to a couple of boys I was talking to the other day, like, because they were all raving about his special. And I was like, it was crazy to see the rolling laughter that he had from 15 seconds in after he'd said hello to the audience and shit to literally the last joke. Like, and it kept zooming to the audience and they were leaning forward with smiles on their face, just waiting for this dude to say, he could have said fucking anything at the end of the day, but just his stage presence and the way he says shit in his own weird way is funny as fuck. And watching him, he literally could have said fucking softball trophy and this audience would have pissed their fucking pants. And that's not taking anything away from him. He's fucking obviously built the career off hilarious jokes, which again, they were hilarious jokes. Just not my style. I like the storytelling shit, which again, other people hate, like the Kevin Harts, the Tom Seguras, the Burt Kreisches. They're some of people's most hated comedians. Like they don't even see them as comedians. But that's what tickles my pickle. And the other two movies that I watched, one of them was Nikita's one. She made me watch, and she's wanted to watch it for months, No Hard Feelings, which is a Jennifer Lawrence movie. And it's just your typical chick flick. It's okay if you're looking for something to put on that you're not really going to pay attention to. There's funny moments in it, good storyline, decent acting. But yeah, the good movie was the one that I picked, which I've wanted to watch for a couple of weeks now, was Ricky Stanicky, which is on Prime, which again, there's some sick shit on Prime. Hey, I didn't even know we had it until a few weeks ago. Nikita's like, yeah, we got Prime. we got Prime, boy. That's a YouTube thing that my 2 kids are obsessed with about Logan Paul's Prime, which is annoying as fuck. But there's a scene in this movie which, I'll be honest, the whole movie is just your typical comedy movie. There's nothing that really jumped out of it until this one scene that came on, and I was legit laughing out loud at this, which is hard to make me do. Probably hasn't happened too often, to be honest. Like the big ones that I remember are Superbad and 21 Jump Street and shit like that. So Superbad actually scientifically got proven. I don't know how the fuck they did that. Adrian is going to dispute this. But this week it got scientifically proven to be the funniest movie of all time, which hard to argue. It's still up there with one of the best movies. But there's a scene in Ricky Stanicky. It's like a circumcision scene, and it's just the funniest fucking shit I've seen in a long time in a movie. Go check it out. It's like I said about Conor McGregor last week, about it was hard to watch him in a movie, be himself. The 2 that I found tricky in this movie were John Cena. I've seen him in heaps of movies, obviously. He's considered an actor now. But it's still hard to just see such a old, roided out WWE wrestler act in shit like that. But he killed it. He fucking annihilated this movie. And the other one was Andrew Santino, which is obviously a comedian and podcaster. And again, in his own right, he's slowly becoming an actor. He's been in a fair bit of shit now. And just like the shit that these guys were saying was so fucking funny. But yeah, go check it out. Ricky Stanicky on Prime. It's a funny as fuck movie. I would rate that over No Hard Feelings. But takes us into our little premature premise of the week, right? And this one's probably going to get me cancelled. But again, one sec. Just going to take a sip. This is for sure going to get me cancelled, right? So I ran this one past Adrian and Ash. I was in a shitty mood the other night, right? And we got home late from work and Nikita's like, oh, I feel like Macca's. And I'm like, oh, fine, I'll go get Macca's. And the kids get Happy Meal nugget Happy Meals every fucking time, right? And again, this is a joke. If you want to cancel me, if this is going to come out in 20 years when I go to host the Golden Globes like it did for Kevin Hart, then I'm sorry. This is a joke. But I ordered the nugget Happy Meals, right? And the lady in the speaker box goes, sweet and sour sauce, which I found bizarre that, yeah, this is the joke, right? This is the joke. I should have just done the fucking voice recording that I sent Adrian and Ash because I'm probably not going to word it as good as I did back then. And again, I'm never going to fucking say this on stage and I need to say it somewhere because it keeps those comedic juices flowing, right? So my little premise, my little pitch was, how come I wonder if I can send it. Hang on. Bear with me. Hang in there. Or I wonder if I can just hold my phone up to the speaker. Is this it? I could play the wrong thing here and get us all in. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, here we go. All right. I'm going to hold it on the mic and hopefully this comes out pretty clear.
Why the default sauce at fast food restaurants is sweet and sour sauce. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? It's crazy. Like, you don't go to a barbecue and the person's like, oh, do you want tomato sauce or barbecue sauce, mate? And then they pipe up and go, oh, I'm actually more of a sweet and sour sauce man. You know what I mean? It's like sweet and sour sauce is being forced upon us by fast food chains. It's like, it's the trans of sauces.
I thought that was funny when I came up with it, but in hindsight, it's not that funny. But yeah, if you don't like that joke or you think it's fucking homophobic or transphobic, it's not. Especially here's a joke from the President of the United States about the trans community and things like that. He came out yesterday and said, Easter will officially be Trans Visibility Day, which for me, I feel like that's fucking with the Christian community to make their one day that they celebrate like the rising of God, the rising of Jesus it's pretty heavily covered in the Bible, Jesus and God's thoughts about that community. I don't have those thoughts. Again, I have heaps of gay friends in the comedy universe, and I'm sure actually they probably wouldn't vouch for me if all you hate mongers came after me, but I'm sure they'd send me a private DM and go, we've got you, bro. We know you don't hate us. But again, you can't control what other people think, so fuck yous. And let's go to our motivational clip of the week. Hear me rushing now. I can feel the hot water. I can feel the fucking pitchforks and knives coming out for me, but whatever, eh? All right, let's hang on. Let's minimize this. So this is off the back of last week where I came on and sort of pitched that Kevin Hart book that he put on Audible about positivity and shit like that. And this little clip's basically him more or less covering it.
I don't have time to be angry. You know how much time it takes to hold an attitude and a grudge? That's time and energy. I don't have that time. The time that it takes you to go, I don't like that person, and keep that in you over a period of time, that's a lot of time that can be devoted to something positive. I choose positive because overall positive will always beat negative.
Well, you know, Nelson Mandela said about that. He said, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and hoping it kills the other person.
There we go. There we fucking go, eh? And that sort of rung true too. And if you felt a certain negative way about that premise that I just put out there, then maybe listen to that. Maybe it's going to take too much energy to hate on me. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool to look at it that way and think how much energy you're wasting on that shit that you're so fucking down about that you could be putting towards something else. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be a short one this week. I think we got pretty close to an hour. I'm pretty happy with that. And we had no interruptions. So let's hope that those camera notifications weren't a home invasion. But plug-in shows for the week. Again, I just have the one. I'm actually liking this 1 gig a week thing. It's giving me a lot more time to write and to deal with a couple other things going on. So yeah, my 1 gig for the week is up on the sunny coast this week, up at Soul Bar again on Tuesday, the 2nd of April. Anyone up on the sunny coast that wants to come say hi or hang out or anything like that, I'm trying to get another 1 or 2 new jokes sorted by then. If I do or don't hold it against me. I'll for sure be doing that evolution joke that I ran on the podcast, which seems to be crushing at the moment. I'll do a bit of fine tuning to that one again, but yeah, if you're around the sunny coast, come check it out. If you want to get in touch with the show, I'm probably going to jump on my stories this week on Instagram and do a bit of like a poll or something like that and just see who exactly on there is listening to the show, because I want to get some advice and target some shit more towards what you guys want to hear and things like that. And if you don't like some of these little bits that I'm doing, like the motivational shit or the premature premise or something like that, then yeah, just want to have some form of communication with you. So keep an eye out for that on the stories. I don't know when I'll be doing that, when I get some fucking time, but send through any submissions you have via DM on Instagram or at cantgetanyworsepod@gmail.com. And yeah, again, would love to get you guys talking to the show, share this shit around, help me get some more listeners and get some fancier shit in here. I'd love a new chair. Actually, 2 days ago, I purchased something new for the studio. It'll be here, if not next week, the week after. So come back for the drink sound effect next week and then possibly the week after for the new addition to the studio, which I think it's going to improve things a bit around here. So thanks for listening, everyone. I'll see you next week and see you later.